All right, today we're diving into a really fascinating idea from a document called the NCAI Guardian Registry. Now, what is it? Well, it's a system designed to do something that sounds almost impossible, to act like an immune system for truth itself. So yeah, let's get right into it. The whole entire system is basically built to answer one single profound question. How do you protect truth from people? From our biases, our own ambitions, our tendency to kind of bend reality to fit whatever narrative we want. That is the fundamental problem we're digging into today. So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll talk about why a system like this is even needed. Then we'll introduce the Guardians, what they are and what they aren't. We'll get into their rules of engagement, meet the 8 specific protectors, and then wrap it all up with the core philosophy, why truth is something to be defended, not enforced. Okay, so let's start at the very beginning. Why does this Guardian Registry even need to exist in the first place? What are the big problems it's trying to solve? Well, the way this document sees it, truth is actually pretty fragile. It's always under attack. You've got things like system capture. Think of it like special interests trying to choke the life out of it. It gets worn down by conceptual drift, where an idea's meaning just slowly erodes over time. And of course, it gets twisted by our own human biases and watered down by power and coercion. The Guardians? They're designed to be a shield against these exact forces. So what's the solution? This is where it gets really interesting. It's the Guardians, and they are probably not what you're picturing. We're not talking about a council of wise elders or some super smart AI. It's something way more fundamental. This slide just nails the core concept perfectly. On the left, you see what Guardians are. They're an immune system, they're referees, they're protectors that are literally woven into the fabric of the system. But the really crucial part, look at the right side. Look at what they are not. They are not people. They don't have opinions, they don't vote, and they never, ever get involved in the debate itself. Now, how is that even possible? It's because of something the document calls Guardian invariance. Just think of these as the system's hard-coded DNA. These rules are absolute and they cannot be changed. Because they're non-human and they don't participate, you can't lobby them, you can't bribe them, you can't sway them with emotion. They just enforce the boundaries, period. Okay, this is another really important distinction to get. The relationship between the invocation and the Guardian. The invocation is like the spirit of the law, right? It's the prose, it's the beautiful vision. The Guardian, on the other hand, is the immune system. It's the cold, mechanical process that protects that vision. Just like the slide says, one is the spirit, the other is the shield, and you really can't have one without the other. So how does this immune system actually function in practice? Well, it turns out the Guardians operate in 3 main zones. This table lays it out so clearly. First, you've got the arena. This is the place for debate. Here, the Guardian is just a referee, making sure the process is fair. It never, ever decides who wins. Then you have the forge, which is where things get created or built. The Guardian just makes sure that new creations stay within the core principles. It doesn't design anything. And finally, there's POP, which stands for proof of participation. The Guardian just ensures knowledge gets vetted properly before it's added to the system, but it never lets the act of participating be mistaken for actual evidence. Okay, so we've got the theory down. Now, let's actually meet the Guardians themselves. There are 8 of them, and each one is responsible for protecting a fundamental pillar of our society. First up is health and wellness. Its main job is to protect human dignity. So think about medical data. This Guardian's whole purpose is to prevent a person's lived human experience from being crunched down into just numbers on a spreadsheet. It makes sure that the human element and consent are always number one. The second Guardian is for faith and spirituality. Its role is really simple, but it's also profound. It basically builds a firewall between belief and empirical fact. It makes sure that one person's faith can't be presented as objective truth for everyone, and that protects the freedom for all belief systems to coexist. Third, we have science and technology. This Guardian is all about what the document calls epistemic hygiene, which is a cool way of saying it keeps the process of knowing things clean and honest. It enforces transparency. So if a company makes a new AI, this Guardian forces them to show their work and disclose its limitations. It's basically the ultimate penalty for anyone who says, just trust us, it's a black box. Okay, the fourth Guardian covers governance and civics. Its whole job is to protect legitimacy, and it does that by acting like a giant spotlight. It constantly exposes hidden power structures, and it automatically flags anything that even smells like system capture. When a tiny group of insiders starts making all the rules to benefit themselves. Number 5 is education and knowledge. Its purpose is to make sure we value actual understanding more than we value fancy credentials. In a system with this guardian, what you know and what you can contribute is what really matters, not just the diploma you have hanging on your wall. It ensures knowledge is validated by merit, not just by title. The sixth guardian is for arts and culture, and this one is a pure protector of expression. It exists to block censorship and to stop any single group from getting to decide what counts as good art or bad art. It makes sure no one can force their personal taste on everybody else. Number 7 takes on media and communication. This guardian protects the integrity of information itself. It's designed to expose manipulative framing, how a story is told to make you feel a certain way. And this is huge. It requires that every single piece of information can be easily traced right back to its original source. And finally, our eighth guardian, environment and sustainability. Its mandate is to force us to think long-term. It automatically penalizes decisions that chase short-term profits while dumping the long-term costs onto the planet. So think of a factory polluting a river to save money today. This guardian makes sure future generations don't get stuck with the bill for our present. So, after all that, let's bring it all home. What is the final ultimate purpose of this entire complex system? What's the big idea? The document puts it perfectly. Guardians are not actors. They're not leaders. They're not judges. They are structural truth protectors. They are baked into the very architecture of the system, almost like the laws of physics are for our universe. And this all leads to what might be the most powerful statement in the whole document. Truth is not enforced. It's not something you can just push onto people. It is something to be defended. The system doesn't create truth. It creates a protected space where truth can emerge on its own and hopefully withstand corruption. And that leaves us with one final question to think about. Looking at this model, this idea of structural protection, it really makes you wonder what parts of our own world, our institutions, our conversations, our media, what parts are most desperately in need of their own immune system?